This is more your topic than my topic, but I picked it. So here's the thing. So we're gonna do some soccer on this show, right? We're excited for the MLS to come back in a few weeks. We'll preview that, I think, in the next couple weeks here. But the Bundesliga basically just ended. Bayern Munich won the championship, as they pretty much always do at this point.
Don't rub it in.
No, wait, hang on. I'm getting there. So I wanted to bring up this topic because I'm not the biggest European soccer fan, but I wanted to bring this up because you're a Dortmund fan, right? And they've always kind of been below Bayern. And I remember after the Bayern game, you posted on Facebook like pretty frustrated about it. But I wanted to kind of give you this platform to talk about your frustrations with it. What I don't really get is why Dortmund is so behind Bayern just in terms of all this stuff. I know this is more European. This might not be everyone's thing, but I really wanted to give you the platform to sort of talk about your thoughts on the season as a whole, talk about Dortmund and kind of what your frustrations are just as a whole. I kind of just wanted to give you the platform to talk about it.
Yeah, that's cool. So basically, I'll just start off with the generalization. The Bundesliga has always been kind of, a second or third league to the EPL or La Liga. So it hasn't always been that, like it's more top heavy than it is,
Oh, for sure, 100%.
A whole table of competitive teams. But this season started out really exciting. Leipzig was, I'll just name you Leipzig, Bayern, and then Dortmund are basically the top three teams the last couple of years. They're good, exciting teams that compete in Champions League, all that type of thing where, you can pretty much find them wherever. As the season progressed, and as it usually does, Bayern seems to find themselves, out ahead a little bit. I'll go back and I'll just start off by saying soccer in generalization worldwide, also for the people listening that don't know this, there's no cap or anything, so you can buy players as you wish and transfer as you wish.
It's a transfer window, so you got winter and summer transfer windows. Obviously,
you have two windows, but there's nothing stopping you from buying any player you want. Okay, so there's owners that have a lot of money and there's owners that don't have a lot of money. So Dortmund is known for getting young talent, 16, 17, 18, year old
Pulisic
guys.
is a good example if you want to go American.
Pulisic is a great example for the American soccer fan. But young players, and they develop them, and they always seem to ship them off until recently to Bayern, like Lewandowski. There's a number of guys that Dortmund has shipped off to Bayern. Whether that's good or bad for you to trade to your rival is, I'm not even going to get into that.
No, it's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
But, Bayern has been known to basically buy a lot of their players. They always seem to start out a little bit ahead. Dortmund finally is gaining traction as far as being able to retain their players and actually pay their players. Is becoming a little bit more of an attractive destination for guys that actually want to stay at the club. But towards the middle of the year, I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, we have a chance to win the title again this year. After last year where it looked good, promising for a while, and then at the end we slipped up again. But the problem with Bundesliga and the problem with a lot of these, and many people don't agree with me, but La Liga and EPL is a 3 or 4 horse race. There's usually
it is
3 or 4 teams at the top that dominate. But the problem with Bundesliga is Bayern always wins. They win the league every year. It's just something that happens. But EPL, you'll get Chelsea, Man U 1 year.
Chelsea I'm a Chelsea fan, so they'll always either finish first or fourth. They won't do anything else. Anyway.
And then La Liga, you get Barcelona and Real Madrid, and occasionally Atletico will chip in, But I think that's what's frustrating for me about Bundesliga is people think it's just a one, and it is, I guess, a one-team race because Bayern always wins the league. But it's not as any less top-heavy than a lot of the other leagues. It's just we always have the same outcome. Bayern always wins, but there's always the same 4 teams that are competing for second, third, fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah. It's a little bit hard for me to talk about and put into words just because, like I'm saying, my frustration for always coming in second or third is getting really stale, especially after Klopp left, who was the old manager.
He's with Liverpool now.
Right direction. But Bundesliga as a whole, I think it's one of the more exciting leagues to watch if you're looking for young talent that's going to be transferred in the next couple, months, because this next transfer window for the Bundesliga is going to be exciting. I think you're going to see there's guys like Kai Havertz who's going to be moved. He's a really intriguing prospect. Jadon Sancho is going to be moved for over £100 million, probably back to the EPL where he's from he's from England, I should say. So it's become a little bit more of a breeding ground and then ship it off, so it's fun to watch if you're into young, intriguing talent. Basically, the Bundesliga as a whole. But my frustration as a Dortmund fan will forever haunt me, and I will forever hate that I chose a team that likes to ship off their players instead of keep them. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's basically the owners are not as rich as some other owners, which is a little bit frustrating when you sell all your young talent too for, thousands of pounds of, whatever, and then you don't buy anything with it. You just keep doing the same thing over and over. But that seems to be soccer as a whole. So
yeah. So I mean, so what do you think needs to change over the next 3-4 years for Dortmund to kind of get up a little bit more and be in that same conversation as Bayern? Because I've always felt as like an outlooker of the Bundesliga that it's always Bayern and Dortmund and no one else. That's kind of how I've always looked at it as someone who occasionally watches the matches.
Yeah, Leipzig has gotten really, really good lately. They had Timo Werner and a couple other young pieces there that I thought they were going to move, but it looks like they might be hanging on to. So they're an exciting team. But just going back to, like you're saying, for Dortmund to improve, basically all I think that needs to be done is they just need to be able to retain more of their players. Like if they were to be able to keep a guy like Jadon Sancho happy in there, he's, under 22 or something, and he's one of the most exciting players in football already. It's a little bit frustrating from a fan to always have to ship off your young players. And I know I just went on a long tangent and generalization about Bundesliga in whole and all that, but
I think that's important for this discussion, especially for people who aren't as big into European soccer as you are, even me to a much lesser degree, but still, I think that's important to mention.
Yeah, but I mean, just for Dortmund to be competitive, really, the thing with soccer that people have to understand is these guys are being scouted when they're 13, 14, 15 years old. So they're picked up at a young age and signed to, youth teams, youth clubs, and they're brought up through a system, So Dortmund's always done a really good job at scouting guys when they're young, but they just can't seem to retain these guys because I think a lot of the problem also, too, is this narrative that the Bundesliga is kind of a farmers league where these guys, they grow up in these systems and they get shipped off to the EPL or La Liga or whatever. So I think once we can kind of change that narrative, and I think what's going to have to change is someone's going to have to beat Bayern for the title. And I think that narrative of the Bundesliga as a farmers league will kind of change as a whole, which will help be able to keep some of these players. Because a lot of these guys that Dortmund is scouting or whatever they have international players from Morocco, England, whatever. And a lot of these guys just want to go play in the EPL because they figure that's the best league because that has been the narrative for so long because there's a lot more interchanging parts in the EPL. So it's a little bit more intriguing for a guy who's from there to go, I'm going to go back to my home country, and the league's a little bit more exciting. But if you can change that narrative around your league as just being a farmers league, but it's going to be hard to break that window with a team like Bayern that can pretty much swoop up any player that they so choose because they've won Champions Leagues and stuff like that. It's the same problem I think La Liga has. It's really Real Madrid and Barcelona at the top, and then
maybe Atletico.
maybe Atletico here and there, yeah. But it's just once you can kind of crack that, and I think that's what EPL does so well, is it's a really balanced league, and I think that's just from the history of it. And that's the big thing about soccer that most people don't know, is the history really follows a lot of these teams. And if you have good history,
100%.
you know, there's not like a draft, you know, like in American sports where you can kind of rejuvenate your kind of farm system. You have to go out and scout these guys, and they have to want to sign for your club, which is also the problem with going back to your Dortmund versus Bayern argument, is because a lot of these guys see Dortmund as they can get me up to a certain point, and then I can go transfer to a team that I can win now on.